as I mentioned before, the Sonic and Knuckles method of breaking this boss isn't as good as you'd expect. Like, there's a reason that I had to use the Infinite Rings code. It is pretty easy to die with a supposedly broken combination, because there's so many ways that the hands can hit you, and they can crush you, and, like, you know? And again, knockback can kill you pretty easily. So here's the weird thing. I had the Have All Chaos Emeralds code activated, but I still got the normal ending when I beat the game. Like, did I need to activate the Have All the Chow code as well? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I beat a special stage and I saw all my Chaos Emeralds, so I know that I got it right. The only special stages I was able to beat were the first few. Because afterwards it gets kind of hard. But these are easily the best special stages in all of the Advance series. And they're even good on their own. Like, I like collecting rings in a 3D plane. This is actually pretty fun and enjoyable. There are problems with it though, like, you move kind of slowly from left to right. You move pretty quickly up and down, which is good, but you move pretty slowly from left to right. You gotta go into these things, the blue rings, because they cause a transformation, the tornado, that makes it faster, and it also gives you a ring multiplier, so that you get rings, but you get more of them than normal. So you really have to make sure that you get into the circles of rings. The blue rings. I don't really like the fact that there's spike balls and stuff that you can run into to lose your rings in this particular special stage. Because while it is a tradition, the thing is that here, you're so focused on collecting anything that you see, that you kind of, maybe it's just me, but it's pretty easy to run into the non-ring things. Because you see something coming up and your brain instantly registers it as a ring and you run into it. Maybe it's the whole 3D thing. Most of the time, I don't have much of a problem figuring out where I should position myself to get the rings. Like, generally I have a lot of depth perception issues in video games, but it's not that bad depth perception wise. Generally, it's usually pretty easy to tell where you should position yourself on the screen. So here's the final special stage. And to this point where you'll finally figure out that you actually can bounce off of top of the bullet bills. They even have a face and everything. I'm not sure how they were able to get away with blatantly ripping off Mario and me like that. But yeah, this one is pretty difficult. You gotta be very precise to make sure that you don't run into the mines when the plane is going really fast and you're trying to collect all the rings you can. Like, these special stages are pretty fun, and I like how they finally started to use the correct model of the plane. Because in the previous Advance games, they showed off the red tornado, even though it had been shot down in Sonic Adventure 1. But I like these special stages, although they're so hard that I can't beat them all. I can't beat that many of them. But I was able to beat a few of them at least, and I liked what I played. Like, there's a lot of classic special stages that these are definitely better than. These are better than the Sonic 1 special stages. Better than the Sonic 2s without a doubt, because they're not definitely requiring memorization. Not better than Blue Spear though. One of the annoying things about the final special stage is that the blue rings, they start moving. So it's kind of harder to get into them, because you gotta not only aim for them, but you also have to make sure that you're moving in accordance with how the blue rings are moving. I really like the background of this place. God damn it, how are you supposed to know that that's there? For the longest time, I assumed that the only way you were able to get to the final boss was by beating the boss of Chaos Angel. So, for the longest time, I assumed that you were forced to fight the final boss with the combination that you fought Chaos Angel's boss with. But Then all of a sudden I find out, oh, you can actually climb up that left wall there to get to the final boss immediately. How was I supposed to know that? So here's the good ending. Emerald actually knocks all the Chaos Emeralds out of Sonic somehow. Not really sure how. And he rebels against Eggman, even though he was reprogrammed specifically so that he would work for Eggman. Somehow, he's able to rebel against him. Like if he was able to disapprove of Eggman and stop working for him, why didn't he just work for Sonic then? And it sure was nice of him to allow Sonic to get the emeralds back. Like, he must really want Sonic to fight him then. But yeah, this is basically the ending. Like, Emerald goes crazy with the Chaos Emeralds again. And Sonic and Eggman team up to stop him. This is the first time in a 2D Sonic game that Sonic and Eggman have teamed up. And honestly, this is the best Super Sonic section in all the Advanced series, but that's not saying much. It's mediocre at best. You gotta charge up Eggman's tag action, and only then will you be able to open up the eye so that you can dash into it. There's a lot of attacks that you gotta dodge. And obviously your rings are always going down, so you've gotta make sure that you collect every ring that you can. You can miss a few though. Like, it's not ridiculously hard to the point where you gotta get every ring you can. And, like, you'd expect when you're frozen by the blue things, like, you'd expect that you'd get your rings drained at a really quick rate, but you actually don't. The after image of Sonic looked kind of bad there. Like, it's red instead of the exact same color as him, but more transparent or something. So I don't really get it. Like, why is the after image red? Like, this boss it's definitely not a good reward for getting all of the Chaos Emeralds. Like, it's such a tedious chore just getting all the Chaos Emeralds to begin with. Just getting all of the Chao is a task all by itself. You should get a Chaos Emerald for getting all the Chao. Because here's the thing, even though you might be able to get all of the Chao, which by itself requires you to do major research on the level design, even though you might end up getting all the Chao and might be really proud of that, it won't mean anything if you can't beat all the special stages. So why? Why can't you just go to the special stage and just beat it? Getting all the Chaos Emeralds should not be such a tedious chore. And not only that, but once you collect all the Chao, you have to replay the level to find a randomized key. Like, it's completely random where that key will turn up. So, that's another thing. It's just another way of padding it out. I don't know why you have to get a specific key. And not only that, but once you get that key, you have to beat the level. So it's not like with the Chao, when you get them, it saves. But with the key, when you find a randomized key in the level, you have to beat the level. And if you die after getting that key, then it'll re-randomize itself and you have to find it again. So it's just like the special stage rings of Advance 2. Like, I thought they learned their lesson. After you beat all the special stages, you'll actually see a cheat that says up, right, down, left, right, left. And if you do that cheat in the main menu, then you'll be able to play all the special stages. But that cheat only works when you've beaten all the special stages already. Why? I guess this is the explanation for why the sky looked all beautiful earlier. Because, well, I guess it's good that it explains that, because it would have created a continuity error just pretending that Angel Island always had a beautiful pink sky. At least here, it's explained that it was pink because of Eggman's influence. I'm not really sure how he made the sky pink, but whatever. But yeah, I don't know why you can't just do that special stage mode cheat whenever you want. That would be the perfect way to be able to practice the special stages so that you can beat them. Because that's another thing. If you lose at a special stage, then the key is gone, and then you have to replay the level all over again in order to get that key back. That is so tedious. Why can't you just get a key and then keep it forever? Why do you have to get it again if you die to a special stage? Like, imagine dying 7 times to the final special stage and having to replay Chaos Angel over and over again. And imagine if you had to get the randomized key in Chaos Angel Act 3. Imagine having to beat that without dying. But yeah, Tails actually fixes Emerald. And so he's able to... Well, what does he do after this game? Like, that's the biggest problem I have. Like, this plot is so much wasted potential because it brings Emerald back, but it doesn't do anything with him. Like, it has him as a villain, but then it's never really explained what he does after this game. Like, even a throwaway line saying that Emerald joined Gun would have been fine. Like, why couldn't they have just explained that Gun moved to the other side of the country because he wanted independence from Sonic, because he's like an adult now. And so he's working as a gun agent so that he can still be a hero and contribute to the world in a good way, but he's also living on the other side of the country, so that's why he can't be with Sonic in the other games. That would have been great. But instead, they just have him disappear. What's the point of bringing him back in Sonic Advance 3? It undoes the tragic ending of Sonic Battle, but at the same time, it doesn't do anything with him. So they might as well have not brought him back at all. Like, I hate the design that he has in this game. It looks too evil, and to be honest, I don't know why Tails didn't just return his design to normal. Cause like, he brought him, like, if he looks evil, then how are people going to trust him? How are people going to trust him enough to allow him to be a good robot? I don't get that. But yeah, you can't play as Super Sonic in the levels after getting all the Chaos Emeralds. Like, that's the thing. Ever since the handheld game started, you were never able to play as Super Sonic in the actual levels. Even in the Advanced series, getting all the Chaos Emeralds doesn't let you cheese through levels as Super Sonic. And granted, this game is kind of focused on platforming, so I guess it would be bad to have Super Sonic make your controls more slippery and have you sliding into bottomless pits. But still, like, the reason that we wanted to get all the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it wasn't because we wanted to play a crappy boss at the end of the game. It wasn't because we wanted to get a slightly better ending. It was because we wanted to cheese through the levels of Super Sonic. But in a lot of games after Sonic 3 and Knuckles, we aren't able to play Super Sonic in the actual levels. Because in the rest of the games, it's like, oh, we have to save Super Sonic for the epic final boss battle. So we have to save him to make him epic. But it's like, he's epic even in the actual levels. It doesn't reduce his epicness. If anything, being able to play as him in the levels makes him even more epic. Because we see firsthand how awesome he is. Like, I don't know. But yeah, Emerald was brought back, which is good. Like, he was sort of like he progressed from a baby-like state to a child to an adult in Sonic Battle as he learned more, which was pretty cool. But it also meant that he was, like, it kind of increased your sympathy for him, because he went from a child to, and now he's a pretty compassionate adult, which is pretty nice. But again, it doesn't really mean much that he was nice to Cream there, because he never sees her again after this game. Like, it doesn't, like, it's not like they become friends and hang out constantly after this. This is the last time he sees her, as far as we know. But anyways, the next game I'm going to be showing off is Sonic Rush. See you then.